Most high school freshmen spend their summers hanging out with their friends at camp or trying to relax on their break from the stress of the school year. However, Emily Schroeder was not your average freshman.
After my freshman year of high school, me and my family of 6 people, along with another family of 6 people, biked across the country. So we flew out to Virginia and started on the coast and biked for 88 days all the way to my hometown in Washington.
After years of planning, the two families set out on the trip of a lifetime. While biking across the country is a fun way to spend the summer, the Schroeder and Halverson families wanted their trip to have more of an impact than just creating lasting memories.
We did it with just our 2 families. We had planned it. It was like a 6-year process in the making, and we turned the trip kind of into a mission where we called ourselves Christ Across America, and whenever we would stop, we had these little dollar bills that basically gave the testimony of Christ while we biked. So that was kind of what we incorporated into our trip.
One of Emily's fondest memories of the trip was the kindness that their group received on their journey. People were willing to open up their homes for meals and wanted to support their families as they rode across America.
Like certain people along the trip that significantly blessed us. There were so many people that would see our caravan of 12 bikers. We rode on tandem bikes, so we were kind of a circus when we would drive or ride into any cities, and so it was just amazing to see the support we got from people along our journey.
Biking thousands of miles is no easy task, especially with a group of 12 and with 8 of those 12 being children or teenagers. Others recognized how astounding this journey was and wanted to share their story.
We actually got a lot of recognition within the cycling community. So there's a magazine called Adventure Cycling, and they highlight a lot of people who do, there's actually hundreds of people who do this bike, and they have specific trails for the route and everything. And so they've recognized people who have done it, people without legs who have done the arm cycling across America, and this was their first time seeing a caravan of 12 people all on tandem bicycles. So they took a picture of our group, and we actually have a big billboard now at their center.
Every day would start at the crack of dawn to get a head start on their day and to ensure that they were efficient in their traveling. With being your own form of transportation, packing light was the only option. The families understandably didn't want to pay for hotels every stop of the trip, meaning sometimes camping in tents became their home away from home.
We actually packed trailers behind our bikes, so we had tandem bikes, and then behind us we kept tents, sleeping bags, and all the gear necessary to camp if we needed to. And so generally we would wake up 4:30 or 5 to beat the sunrise, roll up all of our gear, stuff it into the back of our bikes, and then generally we would bike anywhere from 40 to 120 miles a day. It just depended on the region where we were at. When we were in the mountains, it was a lot lower mileage, but biking through Kansas, where it's all flat, we would bike more like 100 miles a day.
High mileage days definitely posed some challenges on the trip. From fixing flat tires to poor weather, there were plenty of speed bumps that occurred along the way. While these hiccups were frustrating, one of the largest things to overcome during the trip was burning out mentally.
The most challenging part of the journey was definitely the mental blocks I had to get over. I was in good physical condition at the time. I was working out twice a day. We did a lot of training for the trip, but just having to sit on a bike for 6 to 8 hours a day, just pedaling it gets kind of boring. So you just have to kind of learn to be alone with your thoughts and to be able to overcome the mental capacity.
Certain days were hard and the mileage was long, but that didn't mean the trip lacked fun. With 8 kids on the trip, what else would you expect? One of Emily's silliest moments on the trip was a wardrobe malfunction due to their early wake-up call.
One of the ones that sticks out to me is, so we would actually wake up around 4:30 every morning to try to beat the heat of the day. So we were very tired when we would start biking, and there was just this one day where I was a little bit uncomfortable all day. I could not figure out what was wrong, and we had been biking for a few hours, and finally when we stopped, I had realized that my bike shorts were on completely backwards. And if you don't know what bike shorts are, they're very padded in the butt region. And so I had been wearing them backwards all day, and I realized that's why I had been so uncomfortable.
Backwards bike shorts, long days, and thousands of miles later, Emily Schroeder wouldn't change a thing about her trip. While she realizes biking across the country isn't for everyone, she thinks everyone should go on a trip that pushes and challenges them to become better versions of themselves.
Definitely would recommend it to anybody, or just not necessarily the exact trip that I did biking from one end of the country to the other, but doing some big trip that requires a lot of solitude. There's a lot of being by yourself. There's a lot of being able to cope with your own thoughts, and something that requires that much stamina and training is just a big feat to have under your belt, and I would recommend doing some sort of trip like this to anybody.